It's a blessing you found this video, so don't feel lost. Here's a perfect craft for you, the bead cross. These peyote stitch bead crosses are great, a simple design that's fast, fun, and easy to make. Sharing this divine shape is a symbol of faith. So get ready for this tutorial that will hopefully fulfill your creative needs. Feel free to give this video a like and enjoy this episode of TurboBeads. Here's the list of everything you need to make the peyote stitch bead cross. The first thing you'll need is about 6 inches of string. Next, you'll add 8 beads to the string. As you can see, I've used 2 different colors alternating the red and white beads. With those beads on the string, you'll tie both ends of string together with a square knot, bringing all those beads together in a semicircle or square. When tying the knot, be sure to tie your knot nice and secure to ensure that everything stays together. From this point, you should be able to push the white beads toward the center, giving the beads a defined shape of a square. Once the string is tied securely and those beads are all locked in place, you can now carefully cut off the tied loose ends of string. Now that we've cut off the loose ends of string, we now have a bead square that we will build around in order to make the shape of a cross. So let's start by making a short side of the cross. To make a short side, you'll take no less than 6 inches of string. Next, you'll match up each end of string and add a white bead on each end of string. With those beads on the string, go ahead and let those beads fall to the bottom. Now, let's take a single red bead and add that bead to both ends of string, just like this. Push the red bead toward the bottom with the other beads. Now, once again, we'll add a white bead on each end of the string. As you can see, it should be pretty easy adding these beads to the string. Remember, it's 1 white bead on each string, letting those beads fall to the bottom with the other beads. Now that we have these beads on the string, from this point, you'll tie both ends of string together with a square knot, locking all of those beads in place. Remember, when tying the string together, be sure that your knot is tied nice and secure to ensure that everything stays together. Now that the string is tied and those beads are all locked into place, you'll have 2 ends of string on the end of equal lengths to use. This is what it should look like so far. Let's take one end of the string and run it back through a white bead here on the end, getting that string through that bead, pulling the string all the way through, and this will set us up for filling in the open space with a bead. Now, let's take one bead and add it to the string. As you can see, I'm using white for the outline color of this pattern. With the bead on that string, you'll run that string through the next white bead on the end, pulling the string all the way through until that bead fits right into place, filling in the gap. Now you will see that the string is coming out of this bead on this side. We'll leave it here for later use. Let's go ahead and go to the other side using the other end of string, running it through the closest white bead here on the end. When you get that string through that bead and pull it all the way through, we're ready for the next step. Next, we'll take that square and run the end of the string through the red bead, which is a corner point in the square. As you can see, the string is coming out of this red bead. Now, we will run that string through the next white bead on the small unattached piece here. Watch closely as I guide the string through this bead. When you pull the string all the way through, you will see that the 2 pieces will come together, fitting perfectly like a puzzle. Now that we have both ends of string coming out of the same side, we'll tie both ends of string together with a square knot to lock everything in place. This will also keep the 2 pieces together as well. As always, be sure to tie your string with a knot that's solid and secure to ensure that everything stays together. Once the knot is tied and the 2 pieces are now attached, this is what it should look like. You can now carefully cut off the tied loose ends of string and you've finished one small side of the cross. From here, we will need to add more short sides to the square, giving it a more desired shape. Here are the steps once again on how to create a short side of this cross. Taking no less than 6 inches of string, you'll match up the ends and add a white bead on each end of the string. With those beads on the string, letting them fall to the bottom. With those 2 beads on the string, you can now add the red bead to both strings, pushing that bead toward the bottom as well with the other beads. And as we've done before, we'll add 1 white bead on each string. letting those beads fall to the bottom as well. Once you have all 5 beads on that string, you'll tie both ends of string together with the square knot, locking everything into place. When tying the string together, be sure that the beads are locked in a tight formation to ensure that everything turns out correctly. With the knot tied, we'll have 2 ends of string to use. Let's take one end of the string and run it back through the white bead here on the end. When you get that string through that bead, be sure to pull it all the way through. With that string all the way through that bead, you'll add a white bead to the string. Now that you have the bead on the string, you're going to run that string to the next white bead here on the end. When you get that string through that bead and pull it all the way through, that bead that was added to the string will fit right into place, filling in the gap, leaving the string on the end here. As we've done before, we'll leave this end of string for later use. Now, we'll take that other end of string and run it back through the closest white bead here at the bottom. When you get that string through that bead, you'll pull the string all the way through. With the string through that bead, we'll now take the square and run that same end of string through a corner of the square, which is the red bead here. Watch closely as I guide the string through this bead. As you can see, once you pull the string, the 2 pieces will come together. With the string coming out of this red bead here, we're going to run that string through the white bead here on the end. Watch closely as I guide the string through this bead. When you get that string all the way through that bead, you'll see that both ends of string will be on the same side. Now, you'll tie both ends of string together with a square knot that's tied nice and secure to ensure that everything stays together. This will also keep both pieces attached. With the knot tied, you can now carefully cut off the tied loose ends of string, and you've completed another short side of this cross. From this point, you should know how to create and attach another short piece to the square, which will go here at the top. Now, I'm going to show you how to create a longer end of the cross, which is very similar to the other sides. We'll take 1 foot of string, matching up the ends, adding 1 white bead on each end of the string, letting those beads fall to the bottom. With those beads on the string, we'll now add 1 red bead on both strings, pushing that bead to the bottom as well with the other beads. Now, as we've done before, we'll add a white bead to each end of the string. With these 5 beads on the string, we'll tie both ends of string together with a square knot to keep everything locked in place. As a reminder, remember to tie your knots nice and secure to ensure everything stays together. With the knot tied giving us 2 ends of string to use, we're going to take 1 end of the string and run it back through the white bead here on the end, pulling the string all the way through, setting us up to add another bead to fill in the gap. Let's go ahead and add a red bead to that string. Now that we have that bead on the string, we're going to run that string to the next white bead here on the end. Watch closely as I guide this string through this bead, pulling the string all the way through until the bead fits right into place, filling in the gap. From this point, you'll see that the string is coming out of the bead here on the end. Now, we'll take that same end of string and add a white bead to the string. With that bead on the string, we're going to run that string to the red bead here in the middle. Watch closely as I guide the string through this bead. When you get the string all the way through that bead and pull the string all the way through, that white bead that was added to the string will fit right into place, filling in the spot here on the end. With the string coming out of this red bead, we're going to take that string and run it through this white bead here on the end, kind of below it. Watch closely as I guide the string through this bead. When you get that string through that bead, be sure to pull the string all the way through to ensure you have enough string to use to finish this piece. With the string all the way through this white bead, you'll see that the string is coming out of the end here. Using that same end of string, we're going to add a white bead to the string. Now that we have that bead on the string, we're going to run that string back through the red bead here in the middle. Watch closely as I guide the string through this bead. Once we get that string through that bead and pull the string all the way through, that bead that was added to the string will fit right into place on the end here. With the string coming out of this red bead here, we'll need to run the string through the white bead in the middle on the end. Watch closely as I guide the string through this bead. When you get that string all the way through that bead, be sure to pull the string all the way through. With the string coming out of this bead here on the end, we're now ready to run the string through the bead directly above it. Watch closely as I guide the string through this bead. When you get the string all the way through that bead, be sure to pull the string all the way through. As you can see, we have the string coming out of this bead here on top. We can now add a bead to the string. Go ahead and add a white bead to that string. With that bead on the string, we're going to run that string through the next white bead here on the end. Once you get that string through that bead and pull the string all the way through, that bead that was added to the string will fit right into place, filling in the gap. Also, feel free to pull the string as tight as you need in order to keep the beads in a tight formation. Now, we'll need to run the string through a number of beads in order to reach the string to the other side. As you can see, I'm pointing out the 3 beads that you'll need to run the string through. So just watch closely as I guide the string through these beads. This visual reference should give you a pretty clear understanding of where to run the string through in order to reach the other side. When running the string through these beads, be sure to take your time to ensure you haven't skipped any of these beads. This will keep the string hidden within the beads. As seen here, you should have the string coming out of this end of the pattern. When you have the string coming out of this end of the pattern, we'll leave the string there for later use. Now, we'll take the other end of string and we're going to run it back through the closest bead here on the end. Watch closely as I guide the string through this white bead. When you get the string through that bead, be sure to pull the string all the way through. Now that we have that string through that bead, we're going to take our other piece of the pattern and run that string through the next point, which is the red bead here. Watch closely as I guide the string through this bead. Pulling the string will bring the 2 pieces closer together. With that string coming out of this red bead, we're going to run the string through the white bead here on the end. So watch closely and you will see this is exactly how it should be. As I've said before, you'll see that the 2 pieces fit together perfectly like a puzzle piece. With the 2 ends of string coming out of the same side, you'll tie both ends of string together with a square knot, attaching the pieces and keeping everything locked in place. When your knots are tied, you'll carefully cut off the tied loose ends of string and your bead cross is now complete. And there you have it, another bead design simplified, easier for you to make. Hopefully this tutorial was helpful and you can create one just as great. If there's anything you'd like to add, requests or suggestions, feel free to leave a comment below. And if you are new or you just haven't already, don't forget you can always subscribe if you want to be notified for more bead tutorials just like this one. Hoping you'll tune in for the next one to fulfill your creative needs. Until next time, stay blessed. Thanks for watching TurboBeads.